This video will be much shorter than the first. We just have 3 more slides to do, and this is on writing equations. So the function is already there for us. We just have to write the equation. But first I'm going to do the domain and range. So if I look at my domain, I'm going left to right. So left, it's going to go on forever. Here, there is a value, so I'm good, and then it'll go to the right forever. So my domain is all real numbers. Now my range, there is no arrow that goes down. So my first y value is here at 1. And then this is going to go up forever, so it will be to infinity. Now when you write your function, first thing you should do is give it a name. 99% of the time, I just use f of x. If you want to change all of yours to be f of x, g of x, whatever letter of x, that's totally fine. And now you have to draw a bracket. Yes, I know you might need some practice with that, just like with the infinity symbols, but that's okay. Give it your best shot. Now, we have to write, there are 2 pieces to the function. I have, hopefully you can see that, I have the blue piece, and we'll make this the orange piece. Okay, so for each piece of the graph, you need 2 things. You need the function, and you need its domain, so what x values it's using. So the first part of this function is this is a line, so I'm going to look for the y-intercept is here at 2, and my slope, it looks like is -1/2. It's going down 1, right 2 each time. So that's going to be -1/2 x plus 2. Now the second piece of this is, well, what x values is it using? Well, my x value right here, that's x equals 2. So this is all of my x values less than 2. So I've said, what does the function look like, and what x values is it using? So now I have to do the same thing for the orange piece. Now this is just a horizontal line, so its slope is 0, so I don't have to worry about its slope. I just have to say, what's the y value there? So this is going to be 3. That's my y value of 3. And again, what x values is it using? Well, it starts here at 2 as well, but it's the x values greater than or equal to 2. And I used my equal sign here because this one had the closed dot, and I didn't use it here because this one had the open dot. And that's it. That's all it is. So again, for each piece, you have to say what the function is and what x values it's using. Now our next one has many more pieces. 4 pieces, actually. So again, I'm going to color code them. Here's my green piece. And this will make red. And then this little one here will make purple. And finally, we'll make this one blue. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with my domain and range. Left to right. Let's see, yep, that's good, yep, that's good. Domain will be all real numbers. Now my range, this one will go down forever, so it does start at -infinity, but it stops here at -1. There's no y values happening here, and then it picks up again at 1, 2, 3, 4, and goes up for infinity. Alright, so let's write our function. Again, I'm just going to name it f of x with a bracket. And now I always like to do this from left to right. I think it makes it easier because that's just least to greatest. That's how your domain goes. So I would always try to keep it nice and in order so you don't forget anything. So my first piece over here is going to be a line. Okay, remember we need 2 things. We need the function and the x values that it's using. Now, to write this equation of the line, I can't see where it's going to hit this. I don't know where my y-intercept is. So instead, I have to extend this line. So you have to imagine, here's my slope. It's 1. It's just going up 1, right 1. I'm going to continue this till it hits my y-axis. And it hits it there at 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is 1, so it's 1x, or just x, plus 4. And now, what y value, what x values is it using? Well, right here, this is x equals -5. So it's using all of my x values less than -5. And that one's done. For the red piece, it's a horizontal line. We like horizontal lines because we don't have to worry about slope. So this horizontal line is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's just going to be -6. And now my x values are from -5, where we were before, to this x value is x equals 1. So it's going to go from -5 to 1. And notice that I used the equal sign here because it's a closed dot on the left. And then I didn't use it on the right with 1 because that's an open circle there. Now my point, my little point here, all you have to do is the y value, which is -3, and that's just going to be at x equals 1. So again, what's the function look like, and what x values is it using? And finally, the blue piece. Again, this one's just like the green one, where it doesn't touch the y-axis, so I have to figure out the slope. So the slope is 2, so I'm just going to continue that on, and see it touches there at 2 as well. So this is going to be 2x plus 2, and the x values that it's using, it's also at this x equals 1, and it's going to be all my x's greater than 1. Okay? Now, like I said, for this first test, for this first section, we're only using lines and points and maybe a basic parabola. But that's it. You won't have anything else going on for this first section. Okay? So your last one there has 3 pieces to it. I want you to go ahead and pause the video and see if you can write the equation and the domain and range. Okay, so there it is. Again, I color-coded it for you. Okay? And usually, what students will miss is the slope on the blue line. They will think that it's +3 instead of -3. But what you can't do is think, okay, well, I'm going to start here and go up. That's not the way that it works. Lines don't really have direction. Okay? I mean, they do, but you can't start somewhere and go in a certain direction. Just think, if I were to graph this whole line, remember, we're only looking at a piece of it, but if I were to graph the whole line, it's going downhill. Okay? Even though this is pointing up, from left to right, it's going downhill. So I'm going down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. So it is a negative slope. So when you're looking at these lines, even though you're only looking at a piece of it, remember, think of it from left to right. So it is going downhill. It has a negative slope. Okay? All right, that is all for piecewise functions. If you look at the homework, there is a worksheet for you to complete, and I believe a few problems from the book as well. If you're having any trouble with any of this, domain and range part of it, the graphing, the writing equations from this video or the other video, you can always email me or ask me in class, or you can rewatch this video.